Welcome to English with Tony. Let's dive into the last chapter of the story of Donald Trump about how he became president of the USA. Part 5, the post-presidency. After leaving the White House in January 2021, Donald Trump moved back to Florida, where he had a home at Mar-a-Lago. Many people thought he would now enjoy a quiet life, playing golf, relaxing, and staying away from politics. But that was not the case. Even though he was no longer president, Donald Trump stayed very active. He continued to speak at events, meet supporters, and post messages on social media. His voice remained strong, and many people still listened. In fact, Trump became the most powerful former president in modern U.S. history. His fans still loved him. They believed in his message, America First. They felt he understood their problems and spoke for them. And Trump, in return, made it clear he was not finished. Soon after the election, Trump began talking about taking back America. He said the country was heading in the wrong direction under the new leadership. He promised that he would keep fighting for the people who had supported him. He called it a movement, not just a campaign. In the months that followed, he traveled across the country, speaking at rallies, huge events where thousands of people came to listen. He talked about his time as president, the problems he saw in Washington, and how to fix them. Every time he stepped on stage, the crowd cheered. He was still a star in the eyes of millions. Some people thought Trump would start a new political party, but he didn't. Instead, he stayed with the Republican Party, trying to help choose and support candidates who agreed with his ideas. Many of these candidates won elections. Trump was shaping the party, even from outside the White House. In 2022, the U.S. had midterm elections, and Trump's name wasn't on the ballot, but his influence was everywhere. He helped many candidates run for office, and some of them won. But some also lost, and that led people to ask, is Trump's power starting to fade? Trump didn't think so. In November 2022, in front of a cheering crowd at Mar-a-Lago, Trump made a big announcement. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Yes, he was running again, for president in 2024. The news made headlines all over the world. Some people were excited. Others were shocked. Many wondered, could Trump win again? Over the next year, Trump began his campaign. He gave speeches, appeared on TV, and continued talking about what he would do differently if he returned to office. He spoke about stopping illegal immigration, fixing the economy, and protecting American values. He also promised to bring back jobs and lower prices. But this time, it was not just about politics. It was also about legal problems. Trump was now facing several court cases. Some people believed these charges were political, while others thought they were serious. Trump said again and again that he was innocent and that the system was trying to stop him. These problems didn't stop his campaign. In fact, they made some of his supporters even more loyal. At the same time, Trump also focused on new technology. After being banned from some social media sites, he launched his own platform called Truth Social. It became his main way to connect with fans, share news, and spread his ideas. Trump also kept saying that he was fighting not just for himself, but for ordinary Americans, for workers, farmers, truck drivers, and small business owners. He said, "This is your movement, and it's just getting started." As the 2024 election drew closer, the energy around Trump was rising again. People on both sides had strong opinions. Some said he should never be president again. Others said he was the only one who could fix the country. But one thing was certain. Donald Trump was back in the spotlight, and he was not giving up. He had lost an election, faced challenges, and been out of office. But he never stopped moving forward. Like him or not, Trump showed what it means to keep fighting, to believe in your mission, and to stand tall when others want you to sit down. His story wasn't over. In many ways, it was just beginning again. Part 6. The Comeback. Trump becomes the 47th president. In November 2024, Donald J. Trump shocked the world once more. He won. Against all odds, and after years of legal battles, media pressure, and fierce public debate, he returned to the White House as the 47th President of the United States. For some, it was a moment of triumph. For others, it was a cause for concern. But love him or not, Trump was now leading the country again, and he came in with bold promises. One of his first moves was economic. Trump brought back a tough trade policy. He believed that the United States had been too soft in previous deals. He raised tariffs on certain Chinese goods and pushed for stronger protections for American-made products. America First was not just a slogan, it was a policy. Trump said these taxes on imports would help American workers and bring factories back home. Supporters praised him for defending American jobs. Critics warned it might increase prices for consumers and hurt relationships with trade partners. On the global stage, Trump worked to play the role of a dealmaker again. In the Middle East, he restarted conversations between nations with long histories of conflict. He pushed for more peace deals like the Abraham Accords, agreements that encouraged Arab countries to recognize and work with Israel. These efforts were not easy. Tensions were high in the region, but Trump believed that bold steps, not careful diplomacy, would bring lasting peace. In Europe, the situation was just as complicated. The war in Ukraine was still a major global concern. Trump held talks with leaders from both NATO and Russia. He promised to be a strong voice for peace, but also said that America would no longer pay for everyone else's defense. It was classic Trump. Bold, direct, and often controversial. He challenged old alliances and promised to end forever wars by focusing on smart deals and strength. Back at home, his leadership style hadn't changed much. He used social media to speak directly to people. He held large rallies, just like before, and his words were often headline news. Some Americans felt hope again, believing Trump's return would fix a country they saw as broken. Others felt nervous, worried his leadership style would divide the nation even more. Still, one thing was clear. Donald Trump had once again rewritten the rules of American politics. He had fallen, and now he had risen again, stronger, louder, and more determined than ever. What comes next in this unpredictable story of America's 47th president? Part 7. Legacy and Impact. When people talk about Donald Trump, they often have very strong opinions. Some admire him, others don't. But everyone agrees on one thing. He changed American politics in a big way. Before Trump, most U.S. presidents came from a political or military background. They were often trained for many years in government. But Trump came from business and television. He was not a politician. He spoke differently, acted differently, and didn't follow the usual rules. That's why many people called him an outsider. And that's also why many voters liked him. Trump made people feel that anyone, even someone from outside politics, could lead the country. His rise to the White House in 2016 shocked the world. But it also opened a new door. He showed that media, personality, and direct communication could be just as powerful as political experience. His style of speaking was simple, bold, and clear. He used short sentences. He repeated ideas to make them stick. He called news reports fake news and used nicknames for his rivals. Some people said it was childish. Others said it was smart and powerful. Another thing that made Trump different was how he used social media, especially Twitter. He didn't wait for the news to talk about him. He talked directly to the people. With one tweet, he could start a national debate. He didn't use many big or complicated words. He just said what he thought, even if it made people upset. His way of leading also changed how people saw presidential power. Trump often made fast decisions. He fired staff publicly. He said things no president had said before. Some called this dangerous. Others saw it as strong leadership. But Trump's legacy isn't only about his words or actions. It's also about what he represented to millions of Americans. To many, Trump became a symbol of fighting back, against the government, against the media, and against what they saw as unfair systems. His slogan, "Make America Great Again," gave people hope that things could return to a better time. He spoke to people who felt left out, unheard, or forgotten. He promised to bring back jobs, protect American workers, and put America first. That message touched people deeply, especially in small towns and working-class communities. They saw Trump as someone who understood them, not as a distant leader, but as someone who spoke their language. But not everyone agreed with his views. His critics said he was divisive, that he made Americans fight more with each other. They said he attacked groups of people, didn't show respect to women or minorities, and often ignored science or facts. Others worried about his respect for democracy and how he handled problems, like the pandemic or protests. One of the most important parts of Trump's legacy is the way he energized people, on both sides. Some people were inspired to speak up for him. Others were inspired to speak out against him. Millions of Americans became more involved in politics during Trump's time in office. He also changed the Republican Party. Before Trump, the party focused on things like small government and free trade. But under Trump, the party started to focus more on nationalism, immigration control, and cultural values. Many Republican leaders followed his style. Some did not, and this created divisions in the party. Even outside the U.S., world leaders watched Trump carefully. He changed how America talked to other countries. He pulled out of international deals, challenged trade rules, and pushed allies to spend more on defense. Some leaders liked his strong approach. Others were unsure. But whether you agree with Trump or not, one thing is clear. He made people pay attention. Donald Trump's legacy is still growing. He changed the rules. He changed the style. He changed the game. And maybe most of all, he reminded people, love him or hate him, that one person really can shake the world.